Today's episode is for anyone who's ever felt that itch, that restlessness that comes when your work doesn't line up with who you are. We're talking about what it means to build a business or even a life that's driven not just by logic or strategy, but by passion. The kind that keeps pulling you forward even when the path isn't clear. I'm Maria Wronski-Ellis, and I've always been drawn to that spark, that feeling when something just clicks in your body and you know you're on the right path.
And I'm Karina Kampe. I am the one that refuses to believe that magic is a fairy tale, because I see it happening every day. And here on the podcast, we're all about exploring what it really takes to move from stuck to thriving, one honest, imperfect, curious step at a time. That feeling you described in the opening, like needing to feel the work in your body, I've had that too. It's almost physical. When the spark is missing, I just can't fake it. I can work 200% when I'm in it, but I have to enjoy the work and have meaning. That's really important for me.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people are living with that quiet discomfort.
Yeah.
They're doing the thing, ticking the boxes, but they're not connected to it.
And we tell ourselves that it's normal, that work isn't supposed to feel good all the time.
Right.
And we spend so much time at work. So that means we're not feeling good most of the time.
Yeah.
And of course, there are hard days.
Yeah.
But I still think there should be some part of your work that makes you feel alive.
For sure.
Even if it's small, even if it's just in the background.
It's like something that keeps you curious or reminds you that you're growing, and you can really feel that. And for me, it's not even about chasing some huge dream, really. It's about feeling connected to what I'm doing, what I'm building, knowing that I'm not just doing it for the paycheck or the title.
Those are the people that ECTA are reaching out to now to help, to get that feeling. Passion can show up in a classroom.
Absolutely.
I remember teachers that have been so wonderful.
Yeah.
Remember Henry Tate, dancing in front of that, talking about art history.
Yes, right.
Can I tell a short story?
Yeah, please do.
I remember I was in a lecture a few years ago, and it was about customer service at, I think it was SAS, Scandinavian, the airline. And they found that in their customer service, or actually, no, it wasn't customer service, it was complaints. And then they got this wonderful boss in that section. They started to really make that section a lot of fun. They had like Dress Up Friday, and they had, for people that called in or wrote in with complaints, they started to send out a cake to them, thank you for reaching out to us.
Wow.
And things like that, many things that gave the people working there meaning, feeling like they actually did something good.
Yeah.
And they started to flourish. And it wasn't the work. It was still complaints. It was still, I'm unhappy with my trip, that kind of thing. But that they really went over and beyond to do good for these people that have had a bad experience in some reason or another. And I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's where the heart of this episode really is. In that intersection between curiosity and courage. Because it is courage. It's the courage to follow what pulls at you, to make a difference, to make a change. If it doesn't feel good, make a change.
Yeah.
Even when it's messy, even when it doesn't come with a map, because it rarely does.
No, it doesn't. Because I think that passion-led paths, they're not straight. They can be strange and winding and full of pivots. But there's something so beautiful about building your life from the inside and out. And even if it might take you a little longer, right?
And to help us explore this idea of being passion-driven in work, in creativity, in life, we're joined by someone who truly embodies that spirit.
Yes, we do. It's my good friend Tonia Thorne. And she's not just a dear friend, but one of the most creatively versatile people I know. She's done everything from animation and live performance to launching her own voiceover business here in the UK. And what I really love about Tonia is that she doesn't just do creative things. She really thinks creatively in her life. She's always reinventing, always listening to where the energy is pulling her next.
Hello, welcome Tonia.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us for today's episode.
My pleasure. It's great to be here.
Can you please tell us a little bit about your creative journey from the very beginning and what pulled you in each time?
So, when I was a kid, I just loved drawing. I loved running around and I loved drawing, and I loved colour and just, everything around was really vibrant. And I was really into film as well. So I got into animation. That's where my journey sort of started. But always behind the scenes, I discovered music as well. But I was always quite, I was just going to say, when I was younger, I was quite unconfident. I didn't come from a sort of super confident family, and definitely not a creative family as such. So, but where I found solace in the world was by either painting, drawing, or singing. So those were the sort of the first things, really. And I love poetry. So that's how it sort of first started. I think what really sort of started me on the journey properly was when I was finding it difficult to express myself. I think that's where it came from. At the beginning, I didn't really know many people like myself, and then I found others who were in a similar position. When I left my hometown and I went to art college, it was like, oh gosh, there are people who are like me in terms of, communicating. And actually at that time, it wasn't so much using the voice and singing, although I love to do it privately. It was more drawing, more film, more the visual arts, that kind of thing. And then when I moved to London, I worked in the animation industry, and that still carried on. But I met a group of people who were playing music on the side, and that's when the sort of more musical voice singing part of my life started. And so side by side there was this visual creativity going on, and then there was also the singing and then songwriting. It's been a long journey, so throughout my adult life really, and it's only since I've had my son that I've really been more serious about that creative journey and actually doing something for myself rather than it being for other people. I think that's the difference.
That's wonderful. I'd love to hear more.
I think, it touches a lot on, because Karina and I often talk about this constant stream of ideas that creative people actually get, and how overwhelming or actually exciting also that can be. And how do you personally decide what to pursue? What are those crazy ideas to pursue and what to let go of? Do you have like an inner compass that you feel like this is it, or is it practical? Or
I think it's a combination of the practical. So obviously being a mum, it's like when can I fit this in? If I have an idea, I think there's an element of collecting ideas as and when they come. For example, when I'm washing up, when I'm cycling, and ideas sort of like come towards me, and then I find the practical time when I can fit that in and then work around it. And then in terms of the stream of ideas, like I say, they come and go, to be fair. It's like sometimes they'll be quiet, and then there'll be a whole load that seem to be coming down from the sky, from your heart, wherever. And you're like, I get what you're saying, catching those moments. And I think whichever one shouts the loudest and connects and makes you feel a certain way, you're like, okay, there's something here.
Do you have some kind of system, like a to-do list, or, in your calendar, or something really practical, like this is what I'm doing now, to follow up on goals?
In terms of goals, I have lots of lists. So I have, as a creative person, it's been more challenging to get that sort of strategy in there. Uh-huh. But I have lots of different lists and goals. I guess running the business, there is the practical strategy, goals, future, all the rest of it. But when it actually comes to, say, for example, completing a song, I think I tend to do it more organically.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever feel like all your creative ideas live in harmony, or do they fight for attention sometimes?
I wouldn't say that they live in harmony.
That's nice to hear. I'm glad you're saying that.
Not so much that they fight for attention. Well, like I was saying before, it's whichever one sort of peeks its head over the... I guess I imagine it's sort of a bit like a body of water where there's all these sort of splashes coming up, and there might be one that grabs my attention, and that's the one. Very rarely has there been harmony. But it's that thing of a bit like somebody described it once to me, like there's a butterfly, you know, as a creative person, you've got a butterfly and you see it and you look over there and suddenly there's another thing and you go over there. So I think there's a challenge to actually, you know, you've got a net maybe and what am I going to go for this? It's quite, you have to be really disciplined, I think.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm trying to get at, because I completely see what you're saying. I recognize it in myself. I have 1,000 ideas, and what I find is when I go for whatever, you know, peaks at me the hardest, I tend sometimes to drift off, and then it's like, "What? This is what I was supposed to do." And I'm not saying that's bad, because sometimes this on this side is really the one that is supposed to be done. But like you said, like, you know, how do I finish things and put that check in the checkbox, so to say? That is my challenge. That's why I'm asking everyone that's coming on this show, how do you do it? But you say it's different when you have, if I read you correctly, a deadline. You know, you have a job, you have to have it done, and then you have more of a structure than when it's the complete creative part, like songwriting.
Definitely. When you say job, as in like when I was working in the creative
like in
industry,
animation.
Definitely. There's a, you know, you have the producer who has the schedule, and you've got this sort of, you know, you have to hit these points. I have tried to apply that, or am trying to apply that to my own personal work and my own business. I guess the thing is, because life and creativity are so interwoven now, it is challenging to keep on track. But I think it really helps to have the lists, and I work out some strategies and plans on a spreadsheet. But I think if you have... Well, that's the other thing, obviously, with like what you guys are doing, you know, because when I'm solo, I'm completely solo. There are a couple of friends that I dip in and out of, but, you know, I think it really does help to have a group or somebody to rein you back in and just to make you accountable, to say what you're doing. So, you know, when I have my calls with my creative friends and they're like, oh, so where are you on the project? Sometimes I get a bit panicky and think, oh my gosh, I'm not where I'm supposed to be.
So an accountability partner helps.
100%.
Yeah,
definitely. I mean, before I was aware of your program, I'd started setting up something, you know, every couple of weeks meeting with a girlfriend of mine who is self-publishing books and is writing, and we would meet for an hour and talk about where we were. So we sort of started that, and you know, and obviously Hector, you know, what you've got is this great structured and planning, and this meeting and listening. I think that was the thing, listening to the other person.
Do you ever feel like your passion is a compass, or more like a wild horse you're trying to keep up with?
Definitely a wild horse. I've not thought of it like that before, but thinking about that now, yes, a wild horse is a great description for it. I think, you know, there's so much to do. Like when you're on your own as a single person, and I'm also a single parent, and, you know, trying to deal with elderly parents, things like that, whilst trying to build this business, there's so much going on, and yeah, it's how to get a hold on everything. So definitely, that's a wonderful description, a wild horse.
And do you feel that you had to redefine what passion actually means to you? Maybe during slower times, or maybe you didn't feel that intense creative urge or drive at slower times? Do you feel like throughout your life, maybe throughout your creative life?
Yes, the redefining definitely becomes prevalent when there are the slower times, because there's the self-doubt and the uncertainty, and well, actually, there's two things. There's the really busy times when you just don't know which way you're going, and that's where it's the wild horse that you're trying to sort of tame, I guess, or get a latch on. And then when it's the quiet times where you're just you and you're like, what am I doing? Where am I going? How, if that's where I want to go, how can I get there? So there's a lot of self-questioning and self-doubt for sure. And so, for example, at the moment where I've been chasing more of the income rather than necessarily, I find myself swerving from the dream. And it's like, no, that's like it's like a false path. I think that's what it is. There's this false path that's going, come down here. But it's like, no, I'm right in the middle of that at the moment. And actually there's a lot of self-doubt. So I think there's these false paths that need to be sort of cut, and then this refocusing and remembering, what am I doing? What am I doing it for? Why? Who am I within all of this? And that's the massive question at the moment. Yeah.
One thing that one of our participants in the ACTA pilot project said was that the most important thing was actually about being heard, but also about hearing herself saying things, and then realizing that maybe what she was saying wasn't true anymore. Have you ever experienced that? Like the passion has drifted or gone somewhere else?
That's a really good way of explaining that moment that I have had on several occasions. And in fact, during sort of the ACTA program, and then taking that away and having conversations with other friends where we're, sort of supporting each other through it. Speaking out loud, you go, oh, I'd not realised that before, because you can get caught up in your own sort of loop. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I also love the way you say, you make it very visual, because you're a visual person as well. The false paths, because that's what they are. They're a false path that you all of a sudden you're down this road that, what am I doing here? This is not mine. This is wrong.
Why did I jump on this train?
No, and I'm right in that position at this moment, and that's what's so incredible about joining you guys here today, is that the timing couldn't be better, really, because
I'm really glad to hear that.
And also you flagging it up as well. I think that's it.
Stopping something it's like breaking up a relationship, because you've invested, all your passion into something, and just realizing that, no, this is, like you say, this is a blind path. This is, the wrong one. I don't believe in mistakes. I believe in learning, but I need to turn. I can't go on this way.
I agree with you on that. Although I said the wrong path, it's an opportunity. Always taking those moments as an opportunity to learn, and then also to redefine. This is where I should be going, not that way.
Yeah, but also listening to those voices, because I think most people would feel that, even if they're down doing a job that they're not enjoying, they're not feeling anything, but you're tuning into that and you're actually acknowledging that they're there and realizing, I can't continue this path.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. But turning passion into a sustainable career, let's look at some business lessons.
The surprising thing about starting my new business is initially I thought there would just be a couple of strings to it, a couple of strands, and actually I've had to spread a little bit wider, because starting the business, I'm not going to get all of my income from one stream. I had to spread wider. So what incorporated into that was daytime gigs, working for a local charity, as well as some songwriting, and then the voiceover, because it's a new industry to me and I have had to do a lot of retraining, a lot of research. I mean, I spent months and months researching to try and understand how the business worked, what I needed to do to become part of that, and connecting with voice actors, as well as sort of learning about casting directors and all of that. So it's been a long journey. And also what happened, and I guess this was a surprise, because I lost my voice for quite a few months. And
that's right.
Wow.
Yeah, so suddenly here I am redefining my world and the work that I'm going to do, which was around my voice, and I lost it. And so that was a real sort of quite hard hitting, and that made me question, am I doing the right thing? Is this a sign? Should I be doing something else? Blah, blah, blah. And then also under the current climate of, how all of the creative industries are changing, and voice acting is one that's being hit hard by AI, and also after COVID there was the whole influx of people going, oh, I've got a nice voice, let me become a voice actor. And then suddenly the industry, as I understand it, has changed significantly. And I think also what was a surprise was my own as much as I had the passion and the desire to do this and was focusing everything into it, is that I found myself being my own hurdle as well.
In what way?
I have had some massive blocks in getting into the industry, and the main blocker is myself, in that I found myself against a wall, and I haven't even really admitted that to anybody. So now I'm admitting that to you here today. I've known it in myself, and I've always been aware that whenever I do projects, there is a hurdle.
Like the glass ceiling kind of thing?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. So say this is a project, this is 100% of a project, roundabout, and I guess it's the third act, if you were to say that it was in a play. Yeah. There's a turning point, and I'm at that point now, and it's lasting much, much longer than it ever has done in any point where I've changed my life or changed my career. So this is a real big hurdle, and I know intrinsically that inside my heart that I can get over it. So I've always been aware of it, but this is a very big hill to climb at the moment. It's a mountain.
It's like when you get that good offer in the mail and you never answer it, that kind of thing. I've done that, or you have your full production all ready to go, but you never really publish it or send it out. I think many creatives have experienced that. It's some kind of imposter syndrome, I guess. That's why it's so important also to have support that can, when your own motivation kind of, and your scare, because that's what's usually fear, when that strikes you. Because that's also part of being a creative, to swim in dangerous waters sometimes. And that is scary. You have to give so much of yourself, but to have a support system.
Yeah, you're so vulnerable, aren't you?
Yeah.
Because you're showing everything. You're an open book, aren't you?
Definitely. And like you say, that word vulnerability, that really sort of hits home, because there's got to be a lot of things in with that. The vulnerability, like you said, Karina, the imposter syndrome. You might go in at the beginning all guns blazing, going, yeah, I can do this. I'm going to show everybody I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to be great. I'm going to be amazing. And then you go, oh God, the fear sets in, and you go, it's just little me. So, you have to pull in from all those resources. And exactly. I think having that extra support, however that might come, and obviously, being with your program, and that one of the main projects I needed to get done was building a sound booth, a sound studio. Well, I got that done. I'd been thinking, that was like a woo, because I've been trying to get that built and done, and I was thinking that I can do it myself. And actually, this is a great example. I can do it myself. I can get those bits of wood and cut them up and measure them and do this and that and blah blah blah. And it's like, no, I couldn't. So then there's also the self-actualization of, I need help. I need to invest and get somebody else to do it. And of course, bang, it was up just like that.
You need some more accountability in your life, Tonia, I think.
I do. 100%.
But that's also why we have that last question at every talk. What are you taking with you, and what is one small thing that you can do until we meet the next time? When you do things, it creates motion. It really does. And it should be small things that are achievable, step by step by step. A lot of creatives struggle with the business side. We've talked a little bit about that before. But how do you stay organized, focused, or even just motivating yourself as your own boss?
My sort of method of doing that is lists and spreadsheets and boards. It has to be visual, it has to be instantaneous. So although I've created some trackers online, I don't find that as good. So I much rather have a board, and I sort of like put squares on, and then actually, I think, Maria, you were talking about Post-its.
Yes, I am a fan of that.
Yeah, I really love the whole Post-it things. And I remember when I was working at a big company, their digital team had literally all these coloured Post-its that you could move around as and when things. So I have a list, and I have a tick list. I really like, little box, tick in, or to colour in half of it, something like that. Again, so as it comes from being a visual person, that's what I've done. The way that I run my business has changed and evolved over time. So it's been an organic thing to now that I've got it down to sort of, I think, much clearer visual.
We've spoken a little bit about it already, but what do you feel keeps you going when you have hard days and the passion feels really far away?
That's a really good question. Sometimes you need to just take a step back and do something that allows you proper downtime, not pretend downtime. So the weekend was about dancing, was about finding moments to just sit and watch the sunset. My son did a video and I posted it on Instagram, and I've actually said, take time to play. And we had some bubbles, and I was like doing this and just letting your brain settle and not worry so much about the future already. It's just be. And I think that was a real lesson at the weekend. And even sort of being here with Maria, just like you guys are going about your day and I'm getting these moments to just be and exist.
Tonia, if you could give your younger self one piece of advice about following your creative path, what would it be?
2-part. Listen to your heart and be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Ooh.
Maria, what about you? What would you say?
I would say don't care and listen to what others are saying, because I feel like that's influenced me way too much.
I agree on that. Yeah, that makes sense.
How about you, Karina?
Yeah, I'm on the same line. Follow through and believe in what you can do.
Thank you so much, Tonia, for this conversation. And where can people find you online and connect with you? And I also want to plug Tonia's latest single, Flames of Bedlam, which is absolutely amazing. You can find it on Spotify under Tonia Thorne, or look up Flames of Bedlam. Right? Where else can they find you?
So I have an Instagram, and it's called Tonia Thorne Voice. And on there I post about my music and voiceover and just anything sort of creative, really. And then also I have a website, toniathorne.co.uk, and you'll find me on YouTube and Spotify. So yeah, look for Tonia on Flame, and the song that I released last year is Flames of Bedlam.
Wonderful. And of course, we'll put the links in our show notes as well.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been amazing meeting you, really,
yes.
Karina, because obviously I've heard so much and watched your podcast endlessly. But to actually be here, I'm really honoured to have been invited.
Thank you.
Thank you again so much, Tonia.
That was so lovely to meet Tonia. I've seen her online, of course, but I have actually not met her in person. Oh, I have met her at your wedding, but that's 15 years ago.
It is a while ago. Yeah, she's such a creative force, and such an inspirational person as well. And I love just being around her, in her company.
Yes.
So it was really special to have her on for me as well.
And I love the music that you do. So we should put that in the links as well.
Yes, we'll do for sure. Mm-hmm. The one track that we have out right now.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll do that. We'll share that.
But we've been talking so much about passion now. So let's go to the science section and see what that will tell us more about this force of nature.
Yes, and we're going to be looking at the role of dopamine in passion and motivation. Because neuroscience shows that dopamine isn't just about pleasure. It's the anticipation of something meaningful. When you work towards something that aligns with your values or creativity, your brain literally lights up. You know that spark we feel when we're on the right track? It's not just emotional. Our brains are wired to respond to these meaningful goals.
And then we have the curiosity-passion link. We've talked about that before.
We have.
Yes. Studies show that curiosity and passion are deeply connected. When people stay curious, they are more likely to enter flow states, solve complex problems, and stick with long-term goals. So they go hand in hand. Curiosity keeps the passion alive. It's like fuel for creativity. And the best part, it's something that we can actually practice.
The last one is that we've spoken about many times when it comes to the subject that we bring up is the neuroplasticity and passion project. Because, like we have discovered previously, that creativity rewires your brain, and so does engaging in passion projects. Learning something new, especially if it's driven by interest or purpose, enhances neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change. Following your passion isn't just inspiring, it's biologically good for your brain.
And maybe that's why creatives and passion-driven people are so good at life. The different changes in life, because we follow that inner thread. And like Tonia talked about, when you kind of drift off and you feel that imposter syndrome and all of that, but it kind of pushes you back.
And I also think that because your brain keeps changing and growing, because you are challenging yourself in these various ways, I find, I can look at my dad. He lived full on until the very last day because he kept being guided by passion, but what he loved, and learning new things, So his brain, I almost envision like it keeps growing rather than, shrinking that we're worried about with old age.
Yeah, my grandmother was like that too.
Wow.
This episode is powered by ECTA, Empower Change Through Accountability. ECTA offers online courses, inspiration, knowledge, and a community built for momentum. Our free workshop gives you a taste of it all, the method, the tools, the connection. One participant put it best. It was so nice to hear my own voice. It made me clear on what I really wanted and what I didn't. Explore what ECTA can unlock for you. Sign up now at ectahub.net. The next workshop is on August 26th and enrollment is open. We'd love to have you with us. Okay, now we have reached our Tiny Experiment section. Inspired by Anne-Laure Lecump's work Tiny Experiments. That's further explained in episode 11.
But because today we're actually recording 2 episodes, and I have just talked about in the previous episode what I'm doing for my tiny experiments.
Yes.
Obviously, I have not had time to do them. So we will be talking about that next week.
Yes. And I will be traveling too for part of this experiment. Yeah. But what I really need to do for my next experiment, that's declutter.
Ah, that's a big challenge.
So, yes. So my tiny experiment is... one in, one out. For everything I buy or download or take into my life, I need to get rid of something too. At least one thing. And that can mean decluttering my closet, cupboard, handbag, or the big one, my computer.
Oh, yes.
I feel a demolition urge coming on. Maybe I'll just throw out everything and not get anything in. Yeah, so that's decluttering, one in, one out. Yeah. All the links, tools, and inspiration that we mentioned today are waiting for you in the show notes over at www.ectahub.net under episode 14.
You can also find additional details there about our ECTA workshop. And if you want a weekly nudge from us, make sure to sign up for Backstage Wednesday. You'll find the sign-up link in the show notes.
Please do. We love those week letters.
We do. We really do.
And I love the last one where you gave us some inspiration for us parents, how to keep the kids creative when on their holidays.
Busy. It's sort of our little personal note to you.
Yes. And a little nudge. Where are you? Where are you going? And don't forget to come hang with us on Instagram, of course, as well. It's bigdreams.ecta, or on YouTube at bigdreams-ecta for behind-the-scenes peeks, daily thoughts, or gentle encouragement to keep moving forward. In our next episode, we're exploring what it really means to wake up your creativity, especially when life feels busy, stuck, or uninspired. We'll talk about where creative energy comes from, how to reconnect with it, and simple shifts that can make space for ideas to flow again. Whether you're a full-time artist or just feeling the itch to make something new, this one is for you. We'll share our own experience as well as teach you tools to get a quick start and a dive right into your own pool of creative nuggets.
I think that's it. My lovely people, we've followed the passion, uncovered the science, and got to meet Tonia.
Yes. And now comes our favorite part, the reminder that every tiny win deserves to be celebrated.
So whatever step you've taken today, even just showing up to listen, that counts and it matters.
Thanks for being with us.
Yes, a big thank you, and always remember,
show up,
speak up,
and never skip the victory dance.
It's the little things that matter. It's the little things that count.
Now, Karina,
The things that make you happy.